So the next one we're going to talk about is the Smith & Wesson M&P 9. I think it has kind of a rugged, almost H&K look to it. That's just my personal observation. It has a 4¼ inch barrel, so it's a slightly longer barrel than the F&P 9. But I found that the accuracy of this weapon was almost on par with the Beretta. I like this gun a lot in terms of its accuracy. However, it is the lightest of the three, and I definitely felt that in the recoil. I thought the gun had a lot of recoil to it. And you know, somebody with a smaller frame, or like if it's a lady that's going to be carrying the gun, is probably not going to like that recoil. But you know, if you just want to have a good solid 9mm pistol, hey, this could definitely be a good gun for you. I wasn't real impressed with the I guess you'd say the grip on the frame of the weapon. It had kind of a rubbery feel to it, kind of a sticky feel to it. I'm guessing that's designed so that you can hold onto the gun a little bit better under a tense situation, or if you have sweaty palms or whatever. I just didn't like it. It didn't feel comfortable. I kind of had like a dirty feel to my hand after I was done using it. Just, I don't know if it was because it was a range gun and been used a lot or what, but I also wasn't a big fan of the hand style laser that they had. They actually had a laser built into the hand grip with a pressure switch, and it bulged out funny. So that could be a kind of an unfair comparison to the other two. But just in terms of the texture, I was not a big fan of it. The trigger on the M&P 9 has a special safety feature, sort of. It's if you can see this right here, it's actually a pin that hinges the lower portion of the trigger. So the idea is it's to prevent misfires. If the gun is dropped, the idea is that because this lower portion of the trigger is not being pulled, and therefore it's obviously not hinging, it's not going to let the hammer drop. At least that's how I understand it. Again, I'm not an expert on this gun. It's just what I've read. So it was a comfortable trigger. I've heard some people say they don't like the flex in that. I didn't notice it as being an issue, really. It also has your rail on the front of the weapon too. So as I said, 24 ounces, 4¼ inch barrel. It's made with like I said, a 17-round magazine. I believe it only comes with 2 in the box. And it's a solid feeling gun. I do think that the slide is a little bit more difficult to pull back than the other two. It has a very, very stout feeling recoil spring, which probably reflects the quality of the handgun. But you know, for somebody with bigger hands, that could be kind of an issue. Also, I think being that it is a little bit harder to pull back, and then that the slide, I guess you'd call it the slide hold, or the slide release, is a smaller design. It can be sometimes a little bit tedious to get the slide to hold back, but you know, with practice comes perfection. It's like with anything, really. You get used to the gun. I'm sure you'll have a blast with it. So the last gun, and definitely not the least, is going to be your Beretta 92 FS. Okay, this is your standard issue for armed forces, and some government agencies also use this gun. I mean, it's a steel-framed gun, so it's going to be a little bit different than the other two we showed. It's almost 10 ounces heavier than both. It's about 34, almost 35 ounces. Sworn to be one of the most accurate pistols around, and that can probably be attributed to the 4¾ inch barrel. So it definitely is the most accurate out of the 3 that I fired. But I also have experience with this. I've fired a friend's old service Beretta that he had, and he says he's put several thousand, almost probably, he said he put about 5,000 rounds through that weapon, and I found it was very accurate. The Beretta at the range, very accurate weapons. You can also get this with a stainless finish to it if you'd like, the matte stainless. I don't think they have a polished stainless to it, but that's just if you like that look or not. I kind of do. Just depends on the application. The frame of the weapon is fairly comfortable. I don't think it's as comfortable as the F&P 9 for my hands. The trigger is comfortable. The whole weapon is just a solid gun overall. One thing I really liked was how smooth it felt. Night sights are available for this, but I've heard some people say that they're not available from the factory with night sights. I don't know what the big deal is with this. Most of the Berettas I see at the stores have the red dots to them. I guess I mean, and I don't mean a red dot sight. I mean the dots for the actual sights on the weapon have red dots on them. They're not white. And I'm assuming the white ones are all going to be night sights. And I have seen them with the night sights on them, but I've heard people say that's a post, you know, it's an aftermarket. That's not a factory thing. That's something you have to do to it. I don't know if there's validity in that. If you research the weapon, I'm sure you'll find that out. The position of the safety is probably going to be a big issue for some. I gotta say, I don't really like it. At first I thought it was kind of different and unique, and it just kind of bugs me now. The safety's all the way up on the rear of the slide. Maybe if you have real big thumbs or whatever, if you can reach up there and grab it, it's okay. For me, it's a little bit difficult for me to reach a thumb up around that and turn it, you know, to actuate the safety itself. A lot of people like it though. It's, you know, it's like I said, it's proved its reliability. Some people say that it has problems over time with ejecting shells, loading shells into the chamber from the magazines. And it is a 15-round mag and generally comes with 2 mags. It's hard to price compare for a Beretta because there's so many different variants of Berettas. There's also Berettas now made in Italy and the USA. You know, originally a Beretta is an Italian company, but they now have a Beretta USA division. So now there's all kinds of debate about which ones are better. As far as I can tell, they are both equally on par, the same. And the only difference is you're paying a little bit more for the Italian-made ones because they have more of a collector value. As far as I can tell, that's all the difference is. You can also start talking about the Taurus PT92s, which is a different gun company altogether, but it's based off of the Beretta 92. So as I said, it is a steel frame, 34 ounce, almost 35 ounces, comes with 2 mags. All 3 of these guns have their pros and cons. You know, many shooters will swear by any of these weapons for accuracy and reliability. They can all be chambered in different calibers. For the purpose of this review, we've been talking about the 9mm, however, because that is, after all, what I'm looking for. So the next video will be out of these 3, which one I purchased and why. So we'll see you on that one.